Good morning, Gosha. Thank you for agreeing to take part in my new podcast, Under the Spotlight, brought to you in association with MING. You're an active member as well, actually, of MING, which is a free property networking event. We don't charge for anything, and we do have speakers, but the speakers don't charge, and there's definitely no upsell. So it's no entry fee, no costs, and so the most important thing now is you've got your cup of tea, I assume. And
I do indeed.
Well done. So we'll dive straight in. This is the first one, the first episode, so thank you for that. Thank you for being my guinea pig. In less than 5 minutes, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself, a bit about your background, where you come from, and what you do today?
Where to start? Difficult one. So I started as a designer and worked in manufacturing industries for a while, setting up business processes and actually designing different objects, sort of a glass manufacturing in principle. And then at some point I decided to sort of scale up and go into architecture. And from there, my kind of journey transitioned into strategic asset management and property. And as I was kind of moving along, I set up last year my own company, Asset Management Systems, which is a startup consultancy. And my primary role is to support clients with looking at a different approach to managing portfolios or multiple assets. But in the context of property, it is very much about calculating costs of design, construction, maintenance. It's sort of developing a strategy for new buildings and refurbs that meet legislation compliance. It's also kind of looking at optimizing costs from different properties and getting more value from it, looking into achieving net zero target, and sort of setting up improvement strategies and business processes to get better at what people do. And I also provide sometimes training and sort of awareness workshops to be more productive and get things done much quicker, faster.
So you just make everything a little bit more efficient?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, cost saving, time saving.
Yeah. So looking into those, little nitty-gritty bits that make very big difference. I mean, like a couple of days ago, I was doing a couple of documents and a proposal for costs for a client. And then I looked at the document and I've seen, oh, okay, there is a bit of efficiency that can be done. So instead of typing in, like page numbers, you can automate a lot of things. And again, instead of spending half an hour on it, you can actually automate it and then, do something else.
Okay, so
have a cup of tea or go and meet your friends instead of, typing things up.
So is this something that you've designed yourself? I mean, is it like a software system or?
Some of it is more a sort of common sense and actually knowing where to look for the right things. Okay. But also, I don't have a software yet, but I am working on it.
Fab.
So in the next 12 weeks, I think I should be able to do my first testing.
Excellent. Okay, right. Where are we at? Right. So the format for today. So that's a little bit of an introduction about you and about what you do nowadays. So what the way that this is going to run, it's going to be quite light-hearted. Couple of minutes, 2 or 3 minutes or so, just to answer 5 fairly simple questions, just about work and about yourself and so forth. I do have a little buzzer, like little bell, so if you're running over too long, don't worry, I'm going to help you out. So we'll do that, and then after we've done that, so that's going to take 10 minutes or so, something like that, 10, maybe 15 minutes. And after that, we're going to do a quick 10 random quick fire questions, a little bit of fun at the end. So if that's okay with you, should we see how we get on? Yeah. Okay, right. You're the managing director. I've done some homework on you. You're the managing director of Asset Management Systems. You've actually done some of this, just so in a brief 2 minutes, keep it fairly simple. Explain exactly what asset management systems does.
It's a little bit what I already covered. It's looking at the productivity of how you manage properties. So if you have multiple portfolio of assets or properties, it's looking at the consolidated value and actually looking at the upgrades, or how can you improve them and have more value from it. So in terms of value, it's the price you get at the end. That's the kind of a current indicator. And it's also helping people to understand the strategic perspective. So how to bring in legislation and improvements into what you do currently.
And at what stage would you get involved? Would you get involved before the actual acquisition, or is this to tidy up and streamline something that they've already got? Say, for instance, if you just use the analogy there of a portfolio, someone's already got a portfolio. Would it be, I'm looking to buy a portfolio of, say, 20 properties. Is that where I get you involved in the first place, so that you can say, yeah, Mark, this is worth doing, this is worth pursuing? Or would it be afterwards, I've already got 20 properties and you can help me in that respect to tidy up?
So I could get involved at both stages. So at the point of acquisition, it's actually looking at the assets, the purchase value, and what condition they come in. So understanding what would you have to do to get it to the right level, or is it already giving you a lot of value to start with? Mm-hmm. And then when you already have a portfolio that you've been running for a while, I can then look at the whole holistic approach and see where the improvement and efficiencies are. And quite often it depends on how you've been running it. So if you maybe have been approaching the property on individual basis, that means you're duplicating quite a lot of things. But if you actually can consolidate how you manage properties, that gives you an extra, edge in terms of being more effective and productive.
Okay, and this is your own business that you've set up recently, and how, yes. and how do you feel? How is that compared to being employed by somebody else? Can you be more efficient? Were your hands tied before? What was the reason that you moved to do it on your own?
Yes, I think with corporate environment, you very much part of the machine, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And so with someone like me who has quite a lot of strategic skills, but also has a lot of hands-on experience how to deliver the whole piece, so design, construction, operations, I always kind of with full-time jobs got that bit or that bit or that bit. And so it never kind of sat well with me. And now being on my own, I actually can look at the whole piece, and that gives me much more advantage and kind of cutting edge, but also a lot of more freedom in terms of how I approach things.
Good, good. Sounds like you made a good move.
It feels much better, I have to say.
yeah, it does. Right, next question. I can see that you've been involved in property for around about 10 years or so, and I'd like to get down to some highs and some lows. Tell me your greatest experience that you've had so far, and the one thing that you wish you'd maybe done differently.
I think the best experience is really end of the project. I think, when everything comes together and you work with a number of different people, and everyone had their own agenda, and actually getting that win-win, it's absolutely amazing. I always find that just so much satisfying to be able to be part of that whole process. And so that's the sort of the most exciting part for me.
Give me an example. What's the best one?
I think Crown Estates, is the project I always kind of refer to. Okay. So I, as a soft landings lead, I used to sit on the design teams and work with them on specifying the operational requirements. So how the building would operate when it's finished, basically. And then I worked with the design team and the construction team. And at that point, when we were building one head-on street, and refurbishing and bringing new assets in, I've been able to bring in operational teams who would maintain the building and work with them on then procuring the right way of managing that building, you know, setting up the whole documentation, looking at the legislation compliance, the health and safety before we actually got to practical completion. And that way, at the handover, you know, everyone known what they would be doing and how the roles plan out. And so it's very satisfying to have everyone kind of happy with their deliverables. And, you know, having all those like 3 teams in one place, you know, having one big party in the handover is quite an achievement, because quite often the construction piece and operations don't always kind of match. And often operations and maintenance are not involved in projects so early. So they usually kind of get the keys and think like, well, what have we got here? And this sort of, you know, sometimes it happens that people just take it apart and have to put it back together the way they think about it. With having that transition and working together, you get that really, really, you know, big win.
Yeah, no, that's good. And the other side of it, any bad experiences? Anyone that you wouldn't deal with ever again because they were a pain in the arse?
I probably could go back to my kind of early days.
Okay.
I was just thinking, yes, probably there's been one company where I've had quite a bit of challenges, and so I used to manage 6 properties in London Bridge, and there were kind of listed buildings that were going through conversion and a lot of refurbishments, and I have been left with the tenants in situ. And so it's been very difficult for me to manage the expectations, especially that it happened that the you know, I'm not going to say the names,
No.
just in case someone will listen to that, and you know, the World Wide Web.
Oh, I think you.
But I've ended up in a very difficult position where I didn't have a control over the design and construction. I could only just feedback, and so the tenants were kind of saying, well, the roof is leaking. We're very concerned about our health and safety. We can't actually invite our customers to the building. And then the construction company was taking the roof off, turned off all of the services like heating and cooling. They overran with the project. So we were approaching sort of autumn. And so the water was pouring through the roof that didn't exist, and the heating didn't work. And I was kind of in between, stuck in between a lot of you know, divergent expectations. And so I thought, this is probably not the place for me.
You learn a lot through the bad experiences there.
Well, yes, you know, when you actually compare it with the good experience, these are all the lessons learned.
Yeah, exactly.
From like, well, you know, I'm sitting here stuck in the middle. How would I fix it if I would have a chance to do it again?
Yeah, of course.
So it can work. It can work.
Yeah.
I'm still a walking proof of it.
Right. Next question, number 3, because we're going quite slowly actually here. So we're chatting away. Imagine I'm an aspiring apprentice, and maybe I want to look to either look at doing what you do as a career, or I wanted to change my career. Maybe I'm getting on a little bit. I want to change my career. First of all, would you advise it? And secondly, where would I start?
I definitely would advise it. It's absolutely fascinating job, and you meet so many different people. If you like working with different people and like learning and experience, then that's definitely the job to do. I think starting point, the way I started, I was working in different parts of the industry. So moving around and getting hands-on experience is probably the best thing to do.
Okay.
So I work like in maintaining buildings, operating buildings. I sat on the design teams. I work with construction companies. So then that gives you that, a bigger picture view.
Good. So the quick answer is, if I was wanted to get into it, yes, is the answer. It's a good role to get into. Okay, let's move on. Number 4. We'll move on to your home life. Actually, I can see you're married to Chris. Like I said, I've done my homework, and you've got a passion for sailing as well. Now we've only got like 2 or 3 minutes or so, not 2 or 3 hours, to talk about sailing. I mean, I personally would talk to you for hours about being on the water. But how did you get into it, and how long have you been doing it, and why?
I started sailing when I was really a kid. We used to be part of a boat club, and the boats were just part of the normal life. And my dad used to go diving quite a lot. So water was just a part of, of my upbringing. And I used to sail on the lakes, and, swimming, everything was just there. Yeah. So that's quite natural environment to me. And then when I met Chris, I started sailing offshore, much more long distance trips. And so, yeah, sailing has been quite a big part of my life, to the point where we actually lived on the boats for about 16 years. We've had a big Dutch barge, which we sailed across the North Sea together from Holland. So, yeah, there's plenty of stories to say. But yes, definitely sailing's been a significant part of my life. Well, it still is.
And that's how you met?
Yeah.
And that's how you met. Fabulous. I could talk to you for hours about that. I need some tips.
Yes, I was just getting going.
Okay, last question of the 5. Not something we normally do in Ming. However, this isn't Ming. This is under the spotlight. The chance to sell yourself and sell your business. Why should a customer contact you? What makes you stand out? And I was going to say, how do they get in touch? But I'll put your details on at the end of the slide. So your email and contact number if you want me to, but definitely your email address. So go on. Why should they contact you?
Very pragmatic, common sense approach to managing projects.
Okay.
I think that advisory and level of knowledge I provide could help clients to save a lot of money, be very effective, and actually grow their business further.
Okay, that's good. Right, bear with me 1 moment. We're going to do the quick fire questions. This should be a bit of fun, to be quite honest with you. Just something that I thought I would throw in. We've done the serious bit. So,
in no particular order.
In no particular order. Okay, question number 1. If you had to listen to one song for the rest of your life, which song would it be and why?
Oh, difficult one. Can I have 3 songs?
Hey, go on, fire away, have 3.
I think recently I've been listening quite a lot to soundtracks. So okay. I quite like K-Pax.
Okay. I don't even know what that is. Next one. What 3 items would you take to a deserted island or a desert island?
I would take a book.
Okay.
What else would I take? Sun cream. And probably I don't know, gin and tonic.
3 very good answers. Number 3, who would you most like to switch places with for a day and why? That can be anything. That could be an animal, that could be a celebrity, that could be a hero. Would you swap with anyone? I think I'd probably swap with you.
Oh, I think I know what I would like to do. I would like to swap with someone on like a Volvo Ocean Race team. When they go around the world,
Oh, wow.
There is, I think they have like people who do like photography, or even just sail and do a bit of navigation. That would be great, just to get that experience of going at 18, 20 plus knots, and just kind of really racing with all the weather and everything.
What's that? What is that boat race? What's that boat race that does that?
It's every 2 years. It's Volvo Ocean Race. I think now they
Okay.
the next, and this year the Vendée Globe is the one that is taking place this year.
Okay. Next one. I don't know whether you watch TV, but if you did watch TV, which TV show or movie would you absolutely refuse to watch, and why?
I think that's a quite simple answer. Jeremy Kyle.
You haven't got to watch him anymore because he's been thrown off TV.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, see, I don't watch much TV, so I didn't know.
This week, what's the best thing that has happened to you so far this week?
I've had a meeting with a mine company in the UK, and they really liked my approach to help them with implementing technology into the business. So I'm going to slowly start working through with them to getting it set up.
Excellent, well done. Next one, what motivates you?
Seeing how far I can go, just like just seeing how much I can kind of reach my own potential. So like, exceeding my own capability, learning, and actually, creating like a vision when I work with clients and helping them to get there. I think that's quite a powerful thing that usually gets me going, just have an idea,
yeah.
And then just, find a way there.
And seeing it through.
Yeah.
Next one, what is your, you said you'd take a book onto a desert island, so what's your favourite book?
Quite few. I have lots of favourite books, but I think the one I recently enjoyed is called The Riddle of the Sands.
Okay.
And it's about sailing.
There's a surprise.
And it's about a small wooden boat that is sailing in about sort of after the Second World War. It's two English guys going sailing in Holland and Germany, trying to become spies. And they're going through Frisian Islands without equipment and navigation. So it's really the old techniques they use for checking the depth and everything.
So more factual than fictional.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. 3 left.
Although I quite like quite like fiction as well.
Okay. Next one.
Starship and the Canoe, I think, was the sort of imaginary type of book.
Okay. Next one, number 8. Would you rather win the lottery or work the perfect job? I think I know the answer to this.
Can I have both?
No, you can't. Pick one.
No, I think having a perfect job.
Okay. I thought you'd say that. Next one. This one's quite fun, actually. How would your friends describe you?
Oh.
Keep it clean.
I think they'll describe me as quite agile and open-minded.
Very good. And last but not least, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
On a desert island with my gin and tonic and a book.
Reading a book. Very good. Gosh,
I think I would see myself. I would see asset management systems growing and expanding, and having maybe a bit more work-life balance time to go sailing.
Okay, so a little bit more leisure time in 5 years' time. Excellent. Well, believe it or not, we've actually come to the end. And
right.
It was good. So thank you ever so much for coming on. It's been interesting. Plenty of value. I would encourage people to get in touch as well, because we've got a good audience in Ming, and you've got a lot of knowledge. You have a hell of a lot of knowledge, don't you, from what you've gathered over the years. Valuable.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I spent 15 years working in the industry, but I also sit on like British Standard Committee with working with different standards, you know, just writing them for design and construction and operations. I've managed to complete Institute of Asset Management diploma, so that was quite a tough degree. So yes, I've spent some time on, you know, building my capability and knowledge. So there is plenty of it to be utilized.
Gosha, it's been wonderful. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you at the next Ming event.
Yes, that will be Monday.
Lovely. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Well, what a lovely lady Gosha is. I've known Gosha for quite a while now. Great interview. So if you'd like to become a part of Ming, we are on all the usual social media channels like Facebook, LinkedIn. We've got a YouTube channel. I've also created a WhatsApp group. If you'd like to know any more, at the end of this video, I have created some barcodes, or QR codes, I think they're called. You can just scan that and you can join any of the group. If you'd like to be considered for Under the Spotlight, let me know by email or give me a call. And also, if you'd like to be a speaker at Ming, which is on the third Monday of each month, for a couple of hours, 1 till 3, let me know. It's a 20-25 minute presentation. All right, so thank you for watching, and catch you with the next one. Bye-bye.